Welcome back to my Rust series. In this video we'll talk about scalar and compound data types in Rust. Rust supports signed and unsigned integer types, and they range from 8-bit to 128 bits. You can use the isize and usize types to use the bit size of the architecture. Depending on the number of bits, the integer types have certain capacities. Signed integers use the 2's complement representation. The default integer type in Rust, if you do not specify a type, but assign an integer to a variable, for example, is signed integer with 32 bits, which is i32. Here's an example integer type usage with explicitly defined types. There are two floating point types in Rust, f32 and f64, and f32 is a single precision float, while f64 is a double precision float. The default type in Rust for floating point numbers is f64. Here's an example usage of the floating point type. Of course, Rust also supports a Boolean type. The keyword for it is bool. You can define it explicitly, but it's not necessary in most cases. Pretty standard Boolean type. The character type in Rust represents a Unicode scalar variable. In this example, I defined two character variables, x and emoji. Both are assigned a value of a Unicode character. Notice that we use single quotes to represent a character, like in C-based languages. Rust has many compound types, which support storing multiple values. I'll look at the two most basic ones that are built into the language, tuples and arrays. A tuple, as defined right here, stores multiple values of different types. To define it, in the type, we open normal parentheses and then we list the types and the number of elements that will be contained in this tuple. In this case, we have three elements: an integer, a character, and an unsigned 8-bit integer. Then, we use parentheses again to assign values to the tuple. To print the values of the tuple, we can use a dot to access elements by index. Here's how we define arrays in Rust. We open a square bracket and we list the type of the elements in the array, and then the length of the array. Notice that arrays in Rust need to have a predefined length. They cannot grow. They are not vectors like in some other languages. There's a separate vector type for that. Arrays are used to store items in the stack. With this, I'll wrap today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified when the next video in the series is released. Take care.